Hey guys, what's up? Wes here. Yeah, happy July. Hope you had a fun, safe July 4th. I actually have a adult beverage here, and we're not sponsored, but hey, my good friends at Video Games Monthly, years and years ago, sent me one of these beer koozies in here. So, but we're drinking to celebrate. So on July 1st, 2021, it was officially my 1 year anniversary of being a full-time artist. Now, I have, 2 associate's degrees. I worked in sales for over a decade. I came immediately before I did this. I actually worked at the college that I graduated from doing tech support, kind of being the head of their tech support department and stuff like that for about 4 years, almost 4 years to the day. And a lot of fun, but I'm 35 now. I kind of had to follow my dream that I had since I was 5 years old to be an artist, as I was, learning how to trace over Spider-Man comic books and buy Wizard magazine and, see my friends collect all these like Dungeons and Dragons books and, Magic the Gathering and all that stuff back in the mid 90s. I remember my first Magic deck. I can't remember the set, but I want to say the year was like 98, 99-ish. But anyway, going off tangent. But yeah, so a 1 year kind of a work anniversary of being a full-time artist. And it's something to celebrate. And what I wanted to do before we got into our time lapse is kind of explain some of the jobs I've had over the past year, kind of what my experience has been, and we'll go and talk deeper about it in the narration for the time lapse. But I wanted to do something a little cheeky for the time lapse as well, so it's related to one of my work things, but also something else to celebrate. We are super close to getting full partnership with YouTube, which is crazy. Sorry, I'm already kind of burpy. Beer burps. They're real, kids. Once you get over 30, man, it all changes. But yeah, so we're super close. I think by the time this comes out, we may have hit it, which is unbelievable to me. So thank you all for the support. A toast to all of you for being so kind and thoughtful, and love hearing your comments and your stories and stuff. And hopefully you have a story kind of like mine, or art is something that you're just passionate about. Maybe even if you don't make it a full-time gig, you're no less of an artist, and I want you to remember that. But I needed to make the jump. I needed to make the leap of going to a job that I actually liked okay. I could end up probably retiring there and stuff like that, but it just wasn't fulfilling. At a certain point, it was a hamster wheel. I had that, you're in a job whenever Sundays make you anxious because you have to go to work on Monday. You know what I mean? And there's a funny meme now about, hey, I used to work 9 to 5, but now as an artist, I work 24/7, which is totally true. But I wouldn't change it for the world. And I get to stay home with little one and my daughter Gracie, which you all have seen, and the wife, and help out around the house and, make art and fulfill my dream. And it's been crazy. So what we're going to do real quick is I actually have my website up, and we're going to go through like 3 or 4 of the big hits, notable things throughout the first year. And remember, guys, this was in 1 calendar year. And spoiler alert, and we'll talk about this during the narration. The second year is going to be bigger, way bigger, and I can't talk about why yet. I'm still under non-disclosure agreements, but currently I have 5 in the works, which is with new baby and 5 NDAs, and it's a lot, but tons of fun. So what we're gonna do, let's hop over to, there we are. So yeah, this is my website. If you go to wesleygardner.com, you can even follow along if you want to. But yeah, I have it set up, my portfolio and my sketchbook. But what we're going to do, we're just going to kind of come through a little bit of some of these and talk about some notable ones. So the first professional art gig I ever had, was actually doing blue sky is what we call it in the industry, but blue sky. Kind of some concept design work for Adidas, which hopping into the fray that way. So basically what I was able to do here, I worked with a design studio called Black & Cameron. They're out of Hong Kong. And super awesome team. They have their stuff under lock, man. They got it going. They were actually licensed by Adidas to produce a 30-minute spot for the Adidas Philippines campaign for the X9000 series of shoes. The ad campaign was called Feel the Future, I believe, like 4D Feel the Future. And so yeah, you can see all the copyright stuff here, but basically what they tasked me with, so these are kind of my matte paintings, my, you know, stylized looks at what a cyber city could be. But basically they gave me some prompts here. They gave me a full slew of these shots, talked about what cameras they uses, what lenses they did. We talked about the storyboarding. We talked about all this stuff. And then it was my job to give them some designs. And these are the ones that they actually used in some of the stuff, and talking with the 3D modelers and all that. You know, basically it's a big unit that we all talk together and figure this stuff out. But they give some shots, and you can see like here, the 16mm shot. And then basically it was my job. I was tasked to blue sky it. Hey, make some cool looking stuff. There were some other artists from Black and Cameron doing the same thing. So we would like toss notes back and forth and figure stuff out. But really cool details. And I actually have the, commercial here. So I want to show that real quick. Let me hide my mug. That way we can look at it together. So that's it, man. To say I was stoked whenever I saw the final product is understatement of the century. Super cool. So some of my favorite things, just it makes me a little giddy. First, the establishing shot. We talked about an idea of reversing a city and doing that, as you can see kind of right here. I like that they took that idea, but also something, it's the little things. Where is it? There should be a good shot of it here in a minute. Just cool looking graphics and stuff. So that shot right there. So you see kind of the reflections on the road and kind of the wet, kind of that look, but also this liner. Basically, it's a footer, but I thought the footer should glow throughout the city, and you can see that right here. And also the colors that we used, they actually kept it in the shots. And I was like, so normally whenever you work on stuff like this, you'll give some stuff and it might be used, it might not, but you're hired for that brainstorming session. They use some of the stuff. Like, I'm still elated. Like, I'm super stoked that this is on my portfolio. So that's how I got started, basically. This is when I made the decision to really go full-time. And I want to say I was hired like 2 weeks after I went full-time, which is crazy. And then, of course, the thing I'm probably most notable for right now is my work for Warhammer 40K, the Wrath and Glory role-playing game line from Cubicle 7 in Games Workshop. And to say this is a dream come true is like understatement of the forever. I have 6th edition. I know I have some Rogue Trader books. I even have a lot of the novels, like physical novels, like Blood Ravens, and I have the first 3 books of the Horus Heresy. I need to get more of them. I have a ton of ebooks, but all this stuff. But working on Warhammer is an actual like dream come true. As a nerd, as somebody that just loves it, I love role-playing games. I love Warhammer. Just the world and such a vibrant, rich history that you can draw from. It's actually for the Forsaken Systems Player's Guide which you can get at Cubicle 7's website. By the way, all of these products, I'll have links in the description. I highly recommend this. So I just wanted to show this. This is the full PDF that we get. But credits, cover art, my man, Sam Manley, smoked it on the cover. Amazing. But then look at that, man. Art. There's my name. There's my name. I can't believe it. Oh my God. Forever, my name will be in a Warhammer. You know what I mean? Like, oh, so cool. But a big shout out to Zach Del Clutterbuck, one of the best art directors I've ever worked with. Dude knows his stuff. He's amazing. And actually, one of the time-lapse piece that we're going to be doing this time is based on one of these Warhammer pieces I did. So that'll be fun. But another thing I'm just super stoked about. So you get here, you get the credits. Hey, contents, introduction, how to use this book. I don't want to show it all, but look at that. The first main piece of art is one of mine. Like, you can't ask for a better debut or a better premiere or whatever. Like, that's unbelievable to me. Oh, just, it's funny. Once I see it in print, I notice all the mistakes. But I'm beside myself. Like, what? Dude, Warhammer. It's there. Oh, goodness. But not to be outdone. Getting hired by Guildhouse Games. Anthony Tessitore, thanks, man. It's always been a dream of mine to make card game art. I love Magic the Gathering. I have like Hero Realms. I have Star Realms. I have the Legend of Five Rings over here. I just love card games. I love the art. I love thinking that way. I love the problem solving and making narrative decisions and all that, and working at Guildhouse Games. I've now done 6 cards. 6, yeah. It might be 7. Who knows? But basically, this has been an absolute thrill, is to work with Varia. And I actually have some live stream footage of creating this one for sure. I probably need to upload these, but you can see the full 10 plus hours of me making a card from blank canvas, getting a prompt, or getting basically a thumbnail voted on, that type of thing. And hey, there it is, you know. This one blew my mind because we had to break every rule in the card game book in our mind. Normally you have high contrast, big bright colors because you want to read the cards at small size. But because of the narrative of this one, we needed it to be almost hidden from the viewer. Just weird stuff. And then this one, doing 3 different compositions in one for one card, fractured realities and shattering glass. Like, we got out there, man. We talked for hours about different things and some of the lore and stuff like that, and being part of this early stage of Varia. I mean, their Kickstarter flew out the door. It was super successful. And to be part of that second, it's called the Kickstarter 7. So be part of that and being on there with some huge names, like Mike Burns and, you know, Imad Awan, of course, Kike Kotaki, one of my art heroes. We're all working on Varia, man, and it's dope. It's such a good game. It's so much fun to play. You can play it for free if you go to playvaria.com. Once again, links in the description. Super cool. And then, off the beaten path, I've started making a name for myself in the fan art community. So I was licensed by Warner Brothers to make art for Mad Max Fury Road for the BAM box, which is a collectible box. It has some really cool stuff you get every month. Doesn't matter what type of geek you are. There's a geek box, horror box, video games. I know I was part of the Ultra box this past time, like last month. I think I can talk about it now. I still haven't put the art out there, but it was about slasher films, and I was able to do some art based on Urban Legend, the 1998 or 1999 one, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, I got to do freaking official Mad Max Fury Road art. And it's a collector's item. Like, I basically was able to autograph them, sign them. Yeah, full rundown here in the description on the website, but like, they're collector's items. And like, they're certified collectors. But Mad Max Fury Road is such a great movie. whenever they were like, hey, would you be interested in this? I was like, yeah, for sure. That was all done in 1 year. Like, I'm super excited. Oh, also, I can't go without saying, we have, let's see. I know that one was, where's my other one? Where's my Master Chief? Where's my Master Chief? Because I gotta give a shout out to our friends over at Halo. Because this, yes, okay, to the Halo team in 343 Industries, this was a featured piece of Halo Waypoint art. Links to that. I hope this is still up. So yeah, just incredible art right here. Just really, really cool stuff. Beautiful work. And then yeah, my little old Master Chief made the cut, man, being featured globally. There it is. Digital painting inspired by the novels of Fall Reach. Yeah, I was rereading some of the original books. Yeah, so big shout out to the Halo team in 343 for the shout out. So it's not an official gig, you don't get paid for these, but like I got mentioned by Halo, which is just dope. You can see all my Halo stuff, Halo Infinite and my Spartan stuff in the background anyway. Such a big fan. So cool. But yeah, pretty successful first year. So in this time lapse, what we're gonna do, let me actually bring over my Warhammer pieces again. We are going to be doing a piece dedicated to this. So this is the Charybdian, I believe is how you pronounce it. I could be wrong, but it's a planet that has never before been discussed in Warhammer. Zach and myself got to talk a lot about the creation of it. They knew kind of what they got it approved by Games Workshop, what the planet would be, but they had no real visual design of what the interiors and the cities. So we talked about being a very water-based kind of murky, toxic, gross place. And these are the docks right here, and you can see the smog and the cranes and the ships flying over and like big, almost cyberpunk, but grosser, like more disgusting. But what we talked about is I made a big fish in the background, and one of these cranes is picking up the fish. And Zach and I kept laughing because Games Workshop wanted the fish bigger. Can you make it bigger? Can you make it more gross? Can you make it bigger? And I think after the third or fourth time, we're like, how big do they want this fish, man? So we talked about it, and we made this joke about, can you imagine how proud that fisherman would be that caught that fish? Like, the size of the building. So I was like, you know those, the pictures you probably see of people on Facebook a lot, whenever they go fishing and they, like, held the fish and they're all like, hey, I did it. What if it was so big you had to, like, stand in front of it, but it takes up the whole, like it goes over the so that's what we're going to be doing a time lapse of. It's going to be of like who caught that fish. So it's connected to Warhammer, but it's a little it's a little cheeky, it's a little different. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to show you a quick tour of what I got done. A lot of stuff, and I've done album covers and book covers and love all of the clients that I've worked with, but those are some of the more kind of high profile big time ones. Just know that that list is going to be added to this next year in a big way. Very excited already. It's just now got to get to work, make it happen. But yeah, a lot of stuff's moving, which I'm pretty stoked about. But once again, thank you all so much for the support. We'll talk a little bit about changing, being a full-time artist. What does that look like? What do I do to kind of not go crazy, and talk a little bit about this painting. But once again, cheers to all of you. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate every one of you. Leave some comments. I'd love to know what you think. Did you pick up the Warhammer book? You should. If you're into role-playing games, it's great, man. I'm biased, of course, but like it's really good. Any of the Cubicle 7 stuff is like off the chain. But yeah. So let's hop over to that time lapse, and I will talk to you guys very soon. All right, so here we go with a time lapse, and yeah, I'm excited about this one just because the idea is kind of ridiculous. Like, how big is this fish going to be that this fisherman's going to catch? And I like the idea that it's one fisherman that's going to catch this. One of the pieces that you saw that I did is kind of the outskirts of Charybdian. And it's the waters are crashing around and there's all kinds of spooky stuff out there in the waters and you just don't want to mess with it. But like, what if one guy was brave enough to go out there and trek the wilderness, of the waves and crashing stuff on the shores and all the machine wreckage and all that stuff floating around out there, and he bags a massive fish, and like that's gonna pay for his rent or whatever for hopefully more than 1 month. Good lord, for how crazy and nasty those beasts are out there. Oof, I better pay you something. But with this one, I wanted to do something. I've been doing a lot of studying of like John Park and Raphael Lacoste and Derek Zabrocki. That sort of, how do you even explain it? Like sharper, not even just brushes, but sharper angles. So like something I've noticed about, and I'm thinking about doing another Paint Like Your Heroes. That seems to have gone well. I did a Paint Like Your Heroes for Piotr Jablonski, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I may have just butchered it, and I do apologize. A Destiny artist, and I did a piece kind of inspired by him. I may try to do one the likes of John Park, and I think we're getting close to something like that with this one. Something I wanted to do was keep it fairly monochromatic. I wanted to use reds. I don't use pure reds a lot. Reds kind of scare me, as do greens. Really every color scares me. But anyone that tells you they know what they're doing with color is lying to you. All we can do is just hope for the best, But reds are very particular, and I call those out. Like yellows are another one. Greens and reds, they're very touchy. If you go too far, they can turn into like candy. There's this thing, I think James Gurney talks about fruit salad, and you do not want fruit salad for your colors because everything's too bright, it's too in your face, your eyes get bombarded with too much information. So really using kind of the monochromatic, technically this would basically just be the Zorn palette, wouldn't it? Just a kind of a scarlet or a cadmium red light type of thing with some browns and some darks. So you have your ivory blacks and your different browns and things like that. And I also noticed that like Lewis Jones and Igor Sid and definitely Karl Kapinski, a lot of my favorite Games Workshop artists from all years, or all eras of Games Workshop and Warhammer and all that stuff. They use limited palettes, and I think they get very effective results with limited palettes. So I think limiting my palette to have one key color and then just kind of playing around in that color does okay for me now. I feel a little bit more confident doing that, and that also allows me to just kind of get away with stuff. So I can use different brushes, different texture brushes. Now, I know a lot of you people out there will be like, why didn't you use Krita? Trust me, the next few I'm going to be using Krita. I also got Clip Studio Paint on the agenda because a lot of people voted for that. They wanted to see that be used as well. So I got stuff on the radar, no worries. We'll definitely get there. But I wanted to use some brushes very much in the style of John Park. He has tutorials. I bought probably a dozen of his tutorials. I just need to join his Patreon and just get the tutorials, you know what I mean? But I like to pay him. I like to pay people for their time. So I paid top dollar for his tutorials, and I feel they are very worth it. He approaches things very much like a Richard Schmid. Yeah, that's probably his biggest influence, and he'll be the first to tell you that. And the way he thinks about things, I understand it. The way he describes the decisions that he makes, not only do I understand them, but I agree with them. I'm like, oh yeah, I would do that too. Now, John Park's at 10 times the level I'll ever be, but it's good to learn from people like that. I always had this saying of like, and this actually goes into the actual topic of being a full-time artist. always be the worst one in the room. Always be the worst artist or the weakest artist out of your group of friends. Always be the person asking the most questions. Basically, always be a white belt. I'm a martial artist. I say that. I haven't done martial arts in years, but I did get like up to a third degree, actually, black belt. And in Tong Sudo, it's a Korean martial art. And there's a saying that you should, once you become a black belt, you're a white belt again. And then you're a perpetual white belt, which is the very first starter belt. The reason why it's white is because it's pure and it hasn't been tarnished. It doesn't have anything on it. It's very, very open. But then through the stories you tell and your quote unquote adventures of being a martial artist, that's what changes the color of the belt. So there's actually a narrative behind that. But black means you've lived your life, man. You've done it. You've figured out what your forte is. You've mastered the techniques. You've been around for a bit. And I think that's a good goal, is to be a black belt in whatever you're doing. But my advice would be always be a white belt. Always have the headspace of learning and wanting to do something else and like figuring stuff out and like problem solving and, you know, be brand new. Be brand new every single day. Do something you've never done before, whether it's an art or like music. If you're a heavy metal guitar player, learn how to play jazz. Like, just shake things up. And I have a video literally called Shake Things Up. Just go in there and, I don't know, just free your mind, man. It sounds ridiculous, but really, like, don't be so hell-bent on being an absolute master at something. I think true mastery comes whenever you realize you'll never master it. You'll never master it. It's a good attempt, and you should approach it, and you should open-mindedly go forward in trying to get better at the thing. But realize that you got one life. It would take 500 lifetimes to truly master the thing. Just do the best you can. And what you'll start noticing is you'll start focusing, and you'll start finding the stuff that you really want to spend time with. And right now, I would say my professional kind of art career, right now I'm what's considered a generalist. I'm a generalist, but I'm in the entertainment industry. So that means I can work on, I've done work for independent films, I've done work, for Adidas, I've done tabletop role-playing games, I've done book covers, I've done album covers, I've done card games. So like, I'm still in that spot of figuring out what it is I really want to do. But I think in order to do that, you have to be an open book. You have to try all sorts of things to figure out what you really love. Like, do I think I'm going to be a gallery fine art oil painter? No. At least not right now. That might be later on, and you never want to close those doors. But like, as of right now, I really want to learn how these people paint for like Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, Varia, Warhammer. I want to keep learning that. I think there's still a lot that I need to learn. There's a lot that I need to practice as far as storytelling and interest in compositions and using color. There's just so much, and every day is different, and every day is a new challenge, which is actually why I think going from kind of a comfortable 9 to 5, and let me tell you guys, like that was a long conversation, and a huge thank you to my wife for being the most supportive person in the world. Because can you imagine a person that you're with or person you love or whatever comes home and they're like, hey, that job where I have all my insurance paid and time off accrued and everyone loves me and I'm real good at this thing and I could do it forever and retire in peace? What if I just left all that and tried this thing to where nobody makes it? You know what I mean? Like, what? Are you out of your mind? And the answer is yes. Like, genuinely, I think there is something slightly wrong with me. I think there's this, like, kind of, I don't know if it's a chip on the shoulder or, like, I have this weird Irish thing, right? Last name's Gardner, very Irish, if you couldn't tell by my skin complexion that reflects light back into the lens. I don't like when people tell me I can't do something. I don't know what it is, man. They're like, no, that's not going to work. You should really reconsider. I'm like, well, I think you're wrong. And then the further they push, the more I push back. But I think that sort of like hard-headedness is good for this industry. Not because it's my way or the highway, far from it. I think if you go in and you're humble, but you know what you're worth, that's a good combination. And that would probably be my biggest advice to somebody looking, either they're starting their freelance career or they're wanting to, hey, I want to take some commissions, but I don't really know what my prices should be. I mean, just really do the math. Like, what's your rent? How much do you spend a month on groceries? And what's your bills? And do you need insurance? And, you know, that type of stuff. Like really work it out. And I mean, it's great to have a partner in your corner. Like, you know, I have Brittany, my wife, and that's everything. She's the only reason I was able to do this. And thankfully, knock on wood, it's worked so far. Now, I will tell you that freelancing is very feast or famine. And you can get pie in the sky stuff. You can get these big, you know, deals, but let's say you get a big gig and it pays really well. You may not get paid for 6 months. You know what I mean? So it changes the way you budget. It changes the way you have to think about things like that. All the adulting stuff that you have to do in your life, it fundamentally changes how that works. So that means, you know, I go back to eating ramen a lot. But that's fine. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. I know there's something to this. I know there is. And I can't shake the feeling. I was at the point to where I could be very comfortable and not push myself. And I would go crazy. I would go crazy. I know I would, because I started to. I started coming home very angry all the time because of dumb stuff at work. And I don't want to be that person. You know what I mean? Like, I needed to do this for my mental health, for the mental health of my family around me. I was not a very pleasant person. But doing this, it's almost freeing. It's like there is no safety net anymore. I have to do it. Like, now I just have to. Now, if, you know, money where your mouth is, man, are you sure you want this? Well, go get it. And it's all up to me. There's no one else. I have to put in the work. I have to have the skills. I have to be able to use my business acumen and my, you know, the good thing about being in sales, if you've never worked sales, I highly suggest it, if only for a little bit, because you really learn how to work with people. On your good days, on your bad days, you learn it. And that's incredibly valuable. I'll tell you this right now, and I will swear by this. I tell this to my students, tell this to my patrons, whoever really listens. You do not have to be the best artist at all. In fact, I mean, you need to be able to deliver, but you don't need to even be that great of an artist, really, to make it as an artist in the art field, in the art game. You don't. You really don't. The thing you need to do, you need to be reliable. You need to add value. So what that means is you have your voice, the way you do things, the way you look at the world has to be different enough and unique enough to stand out. Because if you're trying to emulate somebody, you're only going to be second best at the best. You're only going to be a knockoff of John Park. You're only going to be a knockoff of Craig Mullins. If that's your goal and that's the exact look you want and you do nothing but like study that over and over and over, you might be very good, but do you really want to be known as the poor man's so-and-so? Or do you want to be you? Just be you. Just take your knowledge and your upbringing and your way that you look at life and all that stuff. And whatever task is put out in front of you, do it to the best of your ability, coming at it from your angle, and you are giving new value that literally does not exist without you. It cannot work without you. It can't. You are the main ingredient, and that is knowing your worth. Knowing your worth is doing a gig to where they could not do it without you. Genuinely. And some people call that a calling. Some people, oh, it's my mission. Oh, I was put on this planet to blah, blah, blah. I do think it sounds weird, but I do think part of me was put on this planet to make something visual, to make either stories or just art that moves people, something. Like there's something there that's closer. My compass reacts more to that than it does the other stuff. So it's like, okay, we don't know what way this journey's going, but let's go. Let's start walking. Where is this going to go? You don't want to say no to any situation, but you also don't want to say yes to too many and burn yourself out. So you got to pick and choose. You got to be, I don't know, man. You got to be on it. You got to know what you want, but you also have to be open to experiment. And that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But yeah, like be reliable. Answer your freaking emails. Learn good business acumen. Like say to whom it may concern, yes sir, no ma'am. All that stuff. That's the basics, man. I would teach people. So whenever I worked at the college, I would teach people like a lot of stuff, like how to use. And these are people from different skill levels. I mean, we're talking about, hey, I would do a kids camp, for 10, 11, 12-year-olds. But then I would also do some professional development for some of the vice presidents of the college. And like, hey, here's how you use SharePoint. Here's how you do this. And oh, you want to program in Python? You want to do this? You want to do that? So there's a lot of stuff going on. Oh, what's Active Directory? What's, the colleague? And, I'm saying a bunch of crazy gibberish words that means nothing to maybe 3 people on the planet. But so we got in the weeds. And what I would always tell people is I'm like, guys, I can teach anyone the systems of Excel. I can teach anyone how to format a thing in Word. I can teach anyone how to do Python scripting or JavaScript or whatever. Like I can teach you that stuff. What I can't teach you is how to work well with a team. What I can't teach you is how to answer the phone and sound happy when you're having a bad day. That's the stuff that gets you jobs. If you are pleasant to work with, if you are kind, and you work in a way that helps out the team, you're just not trying to get yourself over like, oh, I'm such a hotshot, you need to hire me. But like, hey, I think some of my visual language and the way I understand things might be a good fit for your team to get to the next level. That's how I got hired on at Adidas. I guarantee you. Because I was like, guys, I don't know. I'm not a great matte painter. I don't really know how to do that, but I love cyberpunk. I have a freaking Blade Runner tattoo on my arm. Like, when I dream of like neon. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. So that is in my blood. Now, literally, it's in my blood. So like, I'm the right guy. Like, I'm going to bring a passion. I'm going to bring some juice that we can look at. I'm going to bring some meat for these bones. We can look at it. You can use my stuff. You cannot, but I promise you I will be helpful. To everything that I know in my mind, it's all yours. Whatever you want to know. And I try to approach that with every project I do. It's like, listen, guys, this might be my first rodeo. Like, God, once again, bless Anthony and Guildhouse Games for giving me the shot. I'm like, guys, card art is a dream of mine. And I can tell you genuinely, some of the card art I made, I'm proud of a few of them. But some of them I think are a little rocky. I don't think I quite had my voice yet. I don't think I quite had my footing. I am very proud of them. I'll put it that way. I'm proud of them, but I know I can do better. And I have the saying, learned it from like the Braille skateboarding channel. I don't know if you guys are into like skateboarding stuff, but I watch it in the background a lot. And they have a saying that is two to make it true. So yeah, you can luck out and do a thing once, but to really do it, to really know you have a good handling on it, do it again. So sure, I'm ecstatic that I got to work for Warhammer. Oh my God, are you kidding me? It's like you can put that on my tombstone and like, oh yes, I got to do it. But now I need to do it again. So doing things like this and like kind of time-lapse-y stuff and, just talking about art and doing these type of paintings and really trying to stretch into these new realms and new methods of working is hoping to get the call back again. You know what I mean? I don't want to work for a client once. I want to work for them forever. I want to do every Adidas commercial. I want to do every Warhammer book. I want to do every Varia card. I want to do, you know what I mean? Like, it's, for me, man, it's all or nothing. If I'm serious about this art gig, damn it, I'd better have 50 things on blast every day. You know what I mean? Like, we got to make it happen, man. I'm about it. Like, hard work does not scare me at all. At all. Bring it, man, because that's the fun. I left a super cushy job and all the security to literally be a tightrope walker. You know what I mean? Like, to be this crazy Evel Knievel guy. Like, can this happen? Is this doable? Well, let's find out. Like, you have to have a kind of madman, madwoman-esque thing in your mind. You have to be a little crazy to make this happen. But it's happening, and it is happening, and there's proof in the pudding, and I have some amazing stuff in the thing. Really, my goal is to have my name in the credits. It doesn't matter what the project is, man. Get my name in them credits. I want to help. I want to help make other people's passions come alive. I want to help other big companies make their products as sellable and as marketable as humanly possible. If I can assist in any way, let me know. Like, that's my calling card. It's like, guys, I am the best, world's most okayest artist you will ever meet. I'm not gonna blow anyone's socks off. At least not yet. But damn it, we'll get there, man. We will get there. I'm gonna work harder than everybody. You know, I want it. But yeah, just a little a little tirade. Little slightly buzzed tirade for you guys right there. But yeah, let me know what you think of this. Have you thought about going full-time as an artist? What's keeping you back from it? I'm really interested to hear you. Because there's a lot. I mean, bills and kids and the insurance and the world is crazy, and I understand, man. You gotta play it safe, but you know, I'm in my mid-30s now, and I'm like, hey, it's now or never. For me, it was now or never. I tried to do the stuff other people wanted me to do. And then luckily I have such a good family support system with my wife and kids and, you know, parents and stuff like that, that, you know, they think I'm crazy, and I'm proving them right, but also I want to kind of prove them wrong. Like, yeah, we can make this work. So, but anyways, let me know what your story is in the comments. I would love to hear it. Let me know what you think about this crazy fisherman that we're painting. I like his like Sub-Zero mask. I did kind of use that. I was like, what is this cool looking mask? I was like, oh yeah, those Mortal Kombat 11 like Scorpion Sub-Zero mask. Pretty cool. But basically he needs an air tank, you know, because all that grime and muck in the air from Charybdian. Anyway, that's my time. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I can't believe we're almost like a partner on YouTube. That is outrageous to me. It could not and would not happen without you all. So thank you once again. Big toast to you. I'm holding up the beverage right now. Big toast to you. And hope you're doing well. Staying safe. And go make cool stuff, man. Just go paint. You don't have to change the world and set the world on fire and be crazy like your boy Wes. You can just make your stuff. You can sell some prints. You can put it on DeviantArt. You can put it on Twitter. Get you them Twitter followers. Go do your thing. Go out there and be somebody. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's my time. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.